What's up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's EVA Air is facing another walkout, and this time during the busiest travel season of the year. Ground crew with the airline's parent company are unhappy with their year-end bonuses. And as John Van Trieste reports, some even plan to take leave or quit around the Lunar New Year when passenger numbers are set to peak.
Urgently recruiting. That's part of the text of this job ad making the rounds on social media. The job is a 10-day stint as a baggage handler at Taiwan's main airport. There's just 2 weeks until the Lunar New Year, when passengers will come flooding in. And when that happens, some ground crew are threatening to walk out. The union that covers 70% of the airport's ground services has called off a possible strike. But the non-unionized 30% are still unhappy. They work for Evergreen Air Services, affiliated with Taiwan's EVA Air. The workers say they should receive the same 3-month bonus their EVA colleagues are getting, not the 1-month bonus they've been offered. 200 of them protested this by taking days off at short notice over the New Year's long weekend. With numerous demands still unmet, the airline's union is worried that the Lunar New Year could see strike action, plus a wave of resignations.
请假你还能把他们劝回来，但离职的人基本上就你只能赶快再找新的人。那如果在过年期间离职潮跟请假潮一起发生，那其实会很麻烦。
Evergreen Air Services workers say it was their efforts that helped EVA earn a profit in recent years, as it pivoted from passengers to cargo during the COVID-19 pandemic. But while they work for the same parent company, they are not EVA employees, and Evergreen Air Services has been losing money.
跟绩效的联动这个部分，除非他们公司的内规或者是其他部分，你要做一些修改，不然以现况的方式来看的话，实际上就是绩效挂赛。
The pandemic has created a shortage of ground crew at Taiwan's airports. Experts say there are now over 100 positions that need to be filled. With no sign of a breakthrough over the bonus issue, this shortage could get worse, just as Taiwan's first post-pandemic travel influx begins. Eason Pan and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Earlier this week, Greenpeace and other civic groups took to the streets in Taiwan to demonstrate against government regulations on major electricity consumers. They say these rules are not enough to lessen the environmental impact of some of Taiwan's biggest companies. Sully Jensen has more.
Protesting outside the Ministry of Economic Affairs on Wednesday, the message Greenpeace and other groups had for the government was loud and clear. That the authorities need to do more to make sure the country's biggest electricity-consuming companies rely increasingly on renewable energy.
上路2年，只有1%的光电被盖出来，那这代表什么？这代表说这条款完全没有用啊！
我们认为呢，台湾如果要走向2050净零排放，好，还有一个高程度的能源转型的话，这些用电大户的投入是必然需要的，但是现在的法规并没有办法满足这一点。
The Economics Ministry says that it is listening to the concerns being raised by the groups.
因为我们今年要开始做这个2年的检讨，那这个团体的建议我们会纳入检讨的方案里面。
But activists say they still want to see concrete actions.
但是我们现在可以看，从现在的政策可以看到，台湾的再生能源发展是非常非常缓慢的。那它缓慢的一个很大原因，是因为我们的企业跟工业用户并没有加入这个发电的行业，因为他们没有足够的义务，所以唯有这些大户加入一起帮台湾改善这个能源转型的问题，那我们台湾才有可能会成功。
Taiwan's industrial giants are used to consuming the lion's share of the country's electrical power. But activists say the clock is ticking, and now is the time for these companies to accept their climate responsibilities. Andy Xue and Sally Jensen for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's government has scrapped a controversial rule that human rights groups say discriminated against migrant workers. That rule required they get their employees' permission to purchase a scooter or e-bike. Taiwan rolled out e-bike regulations in late November. Most were aimed at boosting safety, but one required that migrant workers provide a letter of consent from their employer to purchase an e-bike. New regulations that don't include that rule went into effect on Tuesday. Migrant workers rely heavily on e-bikes for transportation. The government is now asking employers to include information on local traffic rules in their orientations for new foreign staff. Don't test the law when it comes to bringing pork into Taiwan. That's the message from the government as the country gears up for the Lunar New Year travel season. Taiwan has a list of areas considered high risk for African swine fever. Anyone bringing banned products into the country from these places could face a fine of up to $6,500. This includes people who buy items online and have them shipped to Taiwan. Last year, the government fined 169 people the maximum amount. Proposed changes to the law to regulate the sale and use of electronic cigarette devices in Taiwan have fallen through. That's despite previous agreement between ruling and opposition lawmakers. And questions are now being raised about the sudden U-turn. Leslie Liao has more details.
Taiwanese legislators get together to mull amendments to the Tobacco Hazards Prevention Act. At the heart of the discussion is the regulation of electronic cigarettes, also known as vapes. Proponents of the devices say they can help smokers to quit by providing a less harmful alternative. But critics say the effects on health from vaping are still unclear and that it might even encourage young people to take up smoking. Lawmakers and health officials have met 4 times to discuss what regulations, if any, are needed. Reports said a deal had been reached. Under the changes, people under 20 would be banned from buying vapes, and companies would not be allowed to advertise them. But a lawmaker from the opposition Kuomintang or KMT says the deal suddenly evaporated.
竞争拢讲甲遮好听，大家来甲管理，让青年人不能接触，不要给他做宣传广告。上礼拜大家讲的好兴奋，现在呢，好悲惨啊。
Ling says the Health Promotion Administration torpedoed the changes. For its part, the administration says the complex nature of defining what kind of product an e-cigarette is would make it difficult to enforce the proposed changes.
国民政府也没有能力去管这个电子商品的安全性，还有相关的标示原则等，那是有相关的单位在做管理，所以呢，在整体上来讲，卫生机关是没有办法去执行。
Taiwan's opposition doesn't seem happy with that explanation. It says the government is being pressured by American lobbyists who want to sell their products in Taiwan. Vaping is a big business in the U.S., with the industry worth over $8 billion. The government denies any backroom deals over the U-turn. Indeed, lawmakers from the ruling party say their stance, that e-cigarettes must be regulated, hasn't changed. Either way, it looks like vapers in Taiwan will be free to keep on puffing a little while longer. Klein Wang and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
Foxconn is teaming up with American graphics chip designer Nvidia to develop self-driving technology. It's part of the Taiwanese manufacturer's push into the electric vehicles industry. Foxconn will work with Nvidia to adapt its Drive-Orin platform to power EVs that Foxconn is developing. Drive is a self-driving vehicle chip that uses artificial intelligence to process data from the car's cameras and radar sensors. This allows the car to drive on its own. Nvidia says the technology can support other applications at the same time, like virtual reality gaming for passengers. Foxconn welcomed the new alliance, saying it hopes to eventually overtake Tesla as the leader in EV development. Earth reached its closest point with the sun just after midnight on Thursday, Taiwan time. The annual event is known as the perihelion. When the sun and Earth come nearest to each other, the sun will appear 3% larger than usual. But don't worry, it's still well over 100 million kilometers from Earth.
地球绕行太阳的轨道是一个椭圆形，因此呢，每一年大约在1月初的时候，会是地球轨道绕太阳最近的位置。
Thank you for watching today's What's Up Taiwan. Finally, we leave you with images of a tuna auction at Toyosu Market in Tokyo, Japan. I'm Ethan Liu. Take care and see you next time.